Okay, so you've given us quite a bit here on XRP.
Yeah,
Looks like you want to get a handle on what it all means, right?
absolutely.
And today we're going to zero in on something particularly juicy, the potential for SEC approval of XRP exchange-traded funds, or ETFs.
Right. We're looking at multiple factors, all potentially hitting XRP at the same time. Kind of a perfect storm.
Interesting.
And the Motley Fool article you sent over, published just yesterday, March 14th, 2025, looks at the situation and asks whether all this, and especially the potential ETFs, makes XRP worth a look, even for those who haven't jumped in yet.
Okay, so the article mentions XRP is currently priced at $2.42 as of yesterday, March 15th, 2025, with a market cap of $141 billion.
Right.
It had a little dip that day, but the question is, with all this talk of ETFs, is now the time for someone who's been on the sidelines to get in?
Yeah, that's the big question.
Okay, let's start with these potential ETF filings.
Yeah.
What's the big deal here?
Well, what's interesting is the sheer number of companies that have filed with the SEC to launch ETFs that would hold XRP. As of March 12th, 2025, the article says 9 different asset management firms had already filed.
9. Wow, that's more than just a little interest.
Definitely.
And, the article mentions Franklin Templeton as the latest filer just a couple days ago.
Yeah, just on March 11th.
So what does this tell us about how the big players are viewing XRP right now?
Well, it seems like there's a growing appetite among these institutions, or at least a belief that XRP has a future within these regulated investment products.
Okay.
And the article points out that if even a few of these ETFs get the green light, there could be some pretty big upsides.
Okay, so let's say a few of these ETFs do get approved. What are we looking at? What would be the immediate impact?
Well, one of the first things you'd likely see is a surge in trading volume.
Okay.
You see, each ETF issuer would need to be buying and selling XRP on a daily basis to manage their fund.
Right, to keep things balanced.
Exactly. And across 9 potential ETFs. That's a lot of daily activity, a lot of XRP changing hands.
So you're not just talking about individual investors anymore. You're talking about these big institutions moving serious amounts of XRP.
That's right.
So what does that increased trading actually do?
It basically translates to better liquidity.
Okay.
Think about it like this.
Ah.
Imagine you're trying to sell a lot of shares in a small company versus a huge corporation.
Okay.
It's much easier to find a buyer for those shares without affecting the price too much with a big company, right?
Right. More people trading means the price is less likely to jump around with each transaction.
Exactly. And that's what more liquidity would mean for XRP. Larger transactions, the kind banks and financial institutions might make, could happen more smoothly without crazy price swings.
And that's important because the article reminds us that XRP has always been about these bigger players, especially for international money transfers.
Absolutely.
So if it's easy for them to move large amounts of XRP around, that makes the XRP ledger a much more practical system for what they need.
Right. It really plays to XRP's strengths. And the third major benefit the article highlights is the legitimacy that SEC approval would bring.
Ah, the good old stamp of approval.
Right.
How much does that really matter?
It matters a lot, actually, because it's like a signal to the entire market that XRP has passed a certain level of regulatory scrutiny.
Right.
And that can really help to calm the nerves of some of those more traditional investors and financial institutions who might have been a little wary of cryptocurrencies before because of all the regulatory uncertainty.
So it's not just about making it easier to invest, it's about making XRP look like a more mainstream financial asset in the eyes of the established players.
Exactly. And the article suggests that this legitimacy would then further support the whole investment case for XRP.
Okay, how so?
Well, think about it. If XRP is considered more acceptable from a regulatory standpoint, and it's got the infrastructure for efficient trading, then the argument that it's the best token for international financial transactions becomes much stronger, potentially leading to wider adoption by these institutions.
So it's kind of like a chain reaction.
Right.
Better regulation leads to better infrastructure, which leads to more adoption.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is all sounding pretty good so far. But the article does throw in a little bit of a reality check here, doesn't it?
Yes.
It says not to expect to get rich overnight.
Yeah, it's important to be realistic.
Yeah.
While the approval of XRP ETFs would definitely be a good thing, the article points out that it's not going to certainly turn everyone who's skeptical of cryptocurrencies into a diehard XRP fan.
Right. Just because there's a new way to invest in something doesn't mean people are going to forget all their concerns about it.
Right. And the article also cautions against expecting some huge price explosion the day an ETF gets approved.
Yeah.
The impact is likely to be more subtle, and it could take time.
Right. So no guarantees of instant riches.
No, but the article does bring up an interesting point about volatility.
Oh, okay.
It suggests that more integration into the traditional financial system,
Yeah.
which these ETFs would facilitate, that could actually lead to lower volatility for XRP over time, making it a more stable investment for some people.
Okay, so more institutional involvement could smooth things out a bit,
Right.
though the article does mention that there would likely be some upward pressure initially as the ETF providers buy up XRP to seed their funds.
Yeah, and then there could be sustained buying pressure if the ETFs become really popular.
Right, supply and demand.
Exactly. But to put things in perspective, the article compares this situation to what happened with Bitcoin and Ethereum, which already have ETFs.
Right, I was just thinking about that.
And the article makes a really good point. Even with ETFs available, both Bitcoin and Ethereum are still known for their price swings.
Yeah, they're definitely not for the faint of heart.
Definitely not. And what's interesting is that the article notes there's no clear direct link between when the Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs were approved and any kind of huge lasting price surges.
So the ETFs aren't necessarily a magic bullet.
Exactly. They're a good sign, but they're not a guarantee of massive profits.
Okay, so given all this, how should different types of investors be thinking about this? The article seems to make some distinctions, starting with those more conservative investors who maybe haven't really gotten into crypto yet.
Right. For those investors, the article suggests that even the SEC approval and the increased liquidity might not be enough to convince them to buy XRP.
Yeah, it's like you said earlier, just because there's a new way to invest doesn't change their fundamental concerns about the whole asset class.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what about the people who already own XRP?
Yeah, what about those who are already believers?
Well, the article is more positive for them.
Okay.
It says that the potential ETF approval could really be a good thing, potentially pushing up demand and price. So it suggests that existing holders might want to think about buying more XRP in anticipation of this.
Interesting. So the article's kind of cautiously optimistic, especially for those who are already familiar with XRP.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
The ETFs seem to represent a big step towards more mainstream acceptance and accessibility, but they're not a surefire path to overnight wealth, and they don't change the fact that cryptocurrencies can be volatile.
Absolutely. The potential approval of XRP ETFs is definitely something to watch.
Yeah.
It could lead to more liquidity, more legitimacy, more institutional interest, but it's not some magical solution.
Right. It's all part of a much bigger picture.
Exactly.
All right. So as you're thinking about all of this, the potential benefits, the things to be cautious about, and what it means for different investors, here's a final question for you to ponder.
Okay.
Beyond just looking at the price of XRP, what are the key things you should be watching for to really understand the impact of these ETFs if and when they get approved?
That's a great question.
What would signal real lasting adoption as opposed to just short-term speculation?
Well, you should definitely be looking at the actual trading volume on the XRP ledger itself.
Okay.
That will tell you how much activity is really happening.
Right.
And keep an eye out for announcements from financial institutions about partnerships or adoption of XRP, especially if they specifically mention the increased liquidity or the regulatory clarity that the ETFs have brought.
So they're basically saying, hey, these ETFs have made a difference.
Right. And, of course, you'll want to watch how much money actually flows into these XRP ETFs once they launch.
Okay, so it's not just about the initial hype. It's about the sustained interest.
Exactly. These are the kinds of metrics that will give you a much better sense of the real-world impact beyond just the immediate price movements.
That's really helpful. Thanks for breaking all that down.
My pleasure.
And for everyone listening, we hope this has given you some valuable insights into the potential implications of XRP ETFs. As always, we encourage you to do your own research, stay informed, and make the best decisions for your own individual circumstances.
Absolutely.
Until next time, happy diving.
See ya.
Bye.